Hey guys, welcome to the webinar. I am so happy to see you guys here today. I'm glad you're listening in. And to all of you guys that are going to be watching the replay, um, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to be talking about 3 steps to banishing your bloat and correcting your digestion. I know a lot of you are struggling with bloating and digestive issues, and I totally get it. I was there for very many years. I really struggled for I struggled probably since my early 20s after my second daughter. I ended up going into adrenal fatigue, which the doctors didn't really know that that's what it was at that point. They could not diagnose me. They just kept trying to give me birth control and, synthetic hormones to get my period back. And this really, really messed up my body even more. And years down the line, and just so you know, no doctor could diagnose my high cortisol and my adrenal fatigue. They just wanted to say that it was my estrogen or estradiol that was low. And so that's why they would keep prescribing me birth control. So years later, I ended up getting gastritis, and the doctor prescribed me a PPI. And what a PPI does is it stops the natural acid production within the body that is there to digest food and break foods down. And they also help to kill pathogens and keep the pathogens out of our system. Once you remove that acid, it really helps, or it really contributes to an environment that helps pathogens, parasites, and heavy metals to thrive. And so once I got off of that PPI, I had full blown leaky gut, severe bloating issues, a lot of food intolerances. I was down to 1 or 2 foods at one time. At the very end of my journey, when I finally changed my lifestyle, I was eating 3 foods, and that was and turnips, fennel, and cauliflower. And these foods were cooked literally to mush. And I was so skinny. I was about 88 pounds, and I'm 5'1". Um, I was just so skinny, and I looked really ill. And I would just pour olive oil all over my food because I needed more calories. But I was actually causing more harm than good because that olive oil that was cooked and in the pan with the vegetables was causing more inflammation. A lot of people don't know that oils cause inflammation, and they're pure fat, and they really affect our gut health and the bacteria in our gut. So anyway, I was doing everything that I possibly could think of. I was doing all of the diets, the protocols, the Candida diet, the GAPS diet, the AIP diet, the paleo diet, um, the keto diet, you name it. I have done them all. And I was in and out of the hospital too. I had to have CT scans of my stomach. Um, and I remember one time I had my mom pick me up and take me to the emergency room, and they ended up, because, well, my stomach was so distended that it looked like I was pregnant, but I hadn't eaten anything and I was starving. So I was just so confused as to what was going on in my body. So I had my mom pick me up. She took me to the ER. They took a CT scan of my stomach, and the doctor came back in and said, "We're really shocked because we have never seen this before, but you are so tiny and there is so much, you're so impacted. That's why you're so bloated." So they recommended to take laxatives, which didn't work. I even had a colonoscopy, and I drank the solution, and that didn't even work. So I was just really impacted and really full of bad bacteria and pathogens that were causing me to be really sick, and not in my body, and my hormones just wasn't functioning properly. So I started to do a lot of research on this high carb plant based lifestyle. And of course, I was scared because it was totally opposite of everything that I had researched. And I ended up researching for about a year before I actually just dove in and did it. And as I was researching, things just started to make a lot of sense to me as to how the body works and how it thrives and how it shuts down when there's so many toxic, chemicals within our system, and how our hormones are affected and how our immune system is affected, and how those two things play a huge part in our digestion. And so I dove into the high carb, low fat, plant-based diet, and it it excelled my healing. It was like night and day. It was such a huge impact in a positive way in such a short time, and I was eating so much fruit, probably around 3,000 calories worth of fruit in a day, and I still wasn't gaining weight or getting fat. There was no candida, there was no issues at all, and I was just in shock. So that's the diet that I absolutely love for many, many reasons. I'm going to kind of go over the three steps that I took to get there and how I really eliminated that bloating and corrected my digestion in the next slides. But this lifestyle is the most impactful and powerful lifestyle you can ever do. So let me go to the first step that I took, which was I removed inflammatory foods and supplements and other toxic ingredients that I was taking in. And so, what are those? What do those look like? Well, meat, dairy, eggs, GMOs, processed foods, sugars, nuts, seeds, really high fat foods. Those foods are really going to affect the way that our digestion works, and they cause inflammation. And so the point is to really reduce the inflammation so that the body can start to heal and repair. And also, when you remove those types of things that feed bad bacteria, you're creating a space where there's an environment that can thrive and can heal. So, other things that really affected my digestion, and I see so many of my clients come to me with adrenal fatigue, is stress. Um, Stress is such that cortisol being pumped and the adrenaline that's being pumped out is so damaging to the intestinal lining, and that's where you start to have immune reactions. And you know some of those immune reactions are constipation, bloating, not digesting food well. The cortisol slows down your digestion, especially if you're really tired, and you're more hungry because you're really tired. And you're more hungry because you're looking for energy. So you eat more. You really are putting too much in because the body's going to work at a slower rate at that point. Um, I also wanted to mention that the foods that are toxic and that your body will recognize as a toxin, even if they're not like a toxin, I'm just talking about eggs and dairy. Like, if you are intolerant to those, which most likely you are, you're coming here to watch this and you have issues with bloating and digestive issues, those things are actually recognized by the body as toxins, and that is going to create more stress to the body and more stress to the adrenals. So it's going to backfire big time. We also need to start watching out for the supplements that we're taking, the other ingredients that are in there, the fillers that are in there. Where are they getting the source of this vitamin or the source of this probiotic? These are really important things that people are doing that they're not paying attention to or don't really know that they need to pay attention to that. A lot of the times we're getting prescribed this probiotic or this supplement by a doctor and we think that it's okay, but those things could actually have a negative impact on our health. So the next step was, include foods and supplements that support detoxification and the proper functionality of the body. So what does this mean? This means that um, basically we're eating too many foods that are damaging to the gut because we're trying to avoid the other things, and some website told us that we had to, or some naturopath told us that we had to, and we're not eating enough of the good things that really help to repair and replenish and detoxify that bad stuff and the pathogens within our intestines and our colon. And when you start to remove those things in the colon and the intestine, your body starts to really function more optimally. If it's full of bad bacteria, it's not going to digest well. You're going to be malnourished. You're not going to be absorbing nutrients. And so it's very important to clean that stuff out so that the body can really absorb the nutrients and get the nutrients to the things like the thyroid and the adrenals and all the liver and all the functions of the body that need those nutrients like glucose and minerals. Um, the other things are focusing on supplements that support the immune system. Instead of just taking a supplement that is a probiotic and going and picking one off the shelf, find the ones that are really pure and very bioavailable to our bodies and easily absorbed into our bodies. Those ones are the ones that are going to help to heal us. Um, and Yeah, so glucose, optimizing the functions of the liver and the adrenals by feeding it glucose. We're all eliminating glucose, and glucose is the most fuel that our bodies can get, that our organs can get. The brain, the gut, digestion, every function of the body needs glucose, and we're all cutting that out, which is really having a negative impact on our health. And step three, support your digestion with the proper food combinations. Um, if your digestion is already compromised and you're eating these elaborate meals that have foods in them that digest at different rates, then you're going to actually really stress the body out and it's not going to digest. If you have undigested particles stuck within your intestinal lining and in your colon, this is what creates fermentation and toxic chemicals being released from that fermentation. And also, just it feeds pathogens and it's going to cause gas and bloating and all that stuff that you don't really want to happen. Um, Give me one second. Something else that really happened, or that really helped my digestion in the very beginning, because like I said in the beginning of this webinar, I was really struggling and suffering from an impacted gut and impacted colon. So I had to make things really simple for my body. Was I did mono meals. So what mono meals is you're just eating one fruit or one food at a time. So you can do like potatoes. If you're really struggling to digest food, then peel the potatoes, don't eat the skin. Or you can do something like just bananas or just mangoes, whatever you decide. It's going to make it really simple and easy for your body to break down and digest. Um, and so the other thing I wanted to mention is Tame Your Tummy is now open to you guys tonight just for the webinar people. And this is a course that I created for you guys. It's a mini course that has every single detail that all of my clients get when I work with them, when I make a plan for them so that they can heal their guts and really get rid of the bloating and start reversing autoimmune disease and everything. That is all in here. And I wanted to make a lower ticket because I know some people were asking for that. And so I just decided that it was time to do that. And here it is. Um, such a low ticket offer with a huge massive impact on your health. So I'm really excited about that. What you get is the video recordings, the 3 video recordings in the 3 modules. The 3 modules are going to be digestion and detoxification. Module 2 is food combining, and number 3 is food intolerance. Worksheets that I provide in there are going to have complete instructions and guides to exactly how to do each step, what to eat, how to eat them, when to eat them, in which sequence to eat them, which supplements to take, and a bonus module of how to really eliminate candida for good. I talk a lot about reversing like autoimmune disease and healing the gut and repairing the lining of the intestine if you have leaky gut. And you get like I said, the video modules, everything that you need is in here. even meal ideas that are perfect food combining options, exactly how to eat from morning until night if you're really struggling to digest food and you want to heal. Everything's in here. And for the transformation is really amazing. So you guys are getting pretty much everything that my clients get from me when I make a plan for them. And normally what happens is they transform really quickly. They eliminate bloat, they gain energy, they start to heal their gut, reduce inflammation, they lose weight and water retention, their blood work improves, their hormones regulate, they're now going to the bathroom often where they would have to take laxatives before. They eliminate brain fog. They have a better relationship with food and themselves. And their skin and their hair become really healthy. And what I'm really excited about is the people on the webinar are going to get such an amazing deal for all of this. $107 for all of that. If you purchase the course within 24 hours, you're going to get this deal. If you miss this deal, it's going to be $197. But what what you what you get also if you purchase this is if I go in, which I will be adding more modules and more worksheets. If I go in and add those and update information, you get access to that as well. So anything that changes in there, you're going to get access to that. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this webinar, and I hope it was really helpful and it cleared things up for you as to why your digestive system is not working as well as it should be. I hope you guys have a really good night, and I will talk to you guys soon.